Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our Tuesday testimonial. We have some amazing stories to do tonight. We look forward to you all listening to them. So, my name is Nicole Richard. I've been with Plexus for a little over 3 years now, and I am beyond blessed in so many areas for being a part of this amazing company and community. And I also want to say that Plexus is pretty much all about gut health, but there's so much more to it. And that is what we are going to be sharing. So we're going to hit it off. I'm going to pass the mic over to Miss Marie, who is going to share her story.
Thank you, Nicole. Hello, everybody. My name is Marie Gilligan. I have been with Plexus since originally about August, September of 2018. And then I personally started taking Plexus myself in March. It's a running joke. I started my kids off with the vitamins at the very beginning. My older daughter was starting preschool, and you hear the horror stories of kids getting sick. So I happened to meet Andrea Violet. She recommended this awesome vitamin, and I said, hey, what do I have to lose? And so I like to joke that I use my kids as guinea pigs with the products before I even considered it. And my journey really started in March of 2019, where there is another testimony from me regarding my daughter, Claire. She's 19 months now, about her allergies and her eczema. But this is my story tonight, and how the reason I started taking Plexus was because of Claire. I was breastfeeding her, and I wanted to get a probiotic into her. And although I did give her a tiny bit, I started taking it myself, and I started with the triplex, which is the standard, combo that we recommend for a lot of people starting off. And the triplex is made up of the Slim and the probiotic and the BioCleanse. And basically, what happened is when I was 28, I wanted to get pregnant, and I was ready to start my family with my husband. We've been married for a couple of years, and I went to go get pregnant, and I couldn't. I got off birth control, being off birth control for many years, and I never got a period, ever. And I called my sister, who's a nurse, and I was like, I haven't had my period in a while. She's like, Marie, you need to call the doctor. So I called the doctor, and they saw me, and they did some blood tests, and pretty much right away, my doctor said, you have PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. PCOS is my doctor, I always remember this from the very first day she diagnosed me. She has this triangle, Marie. She's like, there's three things that kind of make up. It's a lot of cysts on your ovaries, it's a lot of hair growth all over your body in unwanted places usually, and then it's acne. And, I looked in the mirror, and I didn't have a ton of hair growth everywhere. I did have acne a lot growing up, a lot in my 20s. I just thought it was, what happens when you get your period or something. And never thought it was anything bad. And then the hormone piece of it, they tested my hormones, and my testosterone was 3 times the normal limit. And as a woman, you do have testosterone in your body, but it wasn't supposed to be as high as it was. So they immediately said, okay, well, your focus is to get pregnant. So we immediately went into the fertility route of let's get you pregnant. And I did lots of drugs. I did Clomid, I did Letrozole, I did IUIs. At that point, about a year into my journey, I finally met with a fertility specialist, and they recommended IVF because they said it's not working. I even got surgeries to get the cysts lasered off of my ovaries. And I still wasn't ovulating, is the end result. You have to ovulate to get pregnant. So my hormones were unbalanced. Nothing was good. Long story short, started IVF, and in December of 2013, after the third round of IVF and 3 transfers, so unsuccessful transfers, I got pregnant with Carly, my oldest. It was quite the journey to get there, and I would never wish that on anybody. And God, I wish I had Plexus back then, because you hear the amazing stories of people getting pregnant, with PCOS and without, with Plexus. So fast forward, I've got 3 kids now. The other 2 were actually natural pregnancies. My doctor says that the pregnancy that I got with Carly, my oldest, was kind of kickstarting my system. So unbeknownst to me,
Carly was 11 months old. I got pregnant on my own for the very first time. And people, I didn't believe it. I argued with the doctor. I said, there's no way. They were like, you're pregnant, Marie. So I was pregnant and had Grace, my second, and then got pregnant with Claire. When Claire was 3 months old, we had some issues with her. I decided that I need to take care of me. I felt like crap. I was still having hormonal issues. I was still breaking out all the time, and I was sad, and I was not happy with my body. I was not happy with my mindset. Talked to my doctor, with everything going on with Claire, they were all worried. Are you postpartum? Do you have depression? And had my kids on the vitamins, and finally, in talking to Andrea, I was like, okay, what do I have to lose? Let's try this for me. Started the triplex, and I would say within a few weeks, with my daughter healing, I noticed a difference in me too. My skin was clear for the first time in years. I was losing a little bit more weight. I lost a lot of weight when I stopped eating everything with her because I cut out a lot of allergens for my daughter because I was still breastfeeding her. But I felt good. I felt like a light bulb went off for the first time in over 4 or 5 years. I felt like I had control of my body. I was sleeping better. I felt like I could think. They talk about mom brain fog. I didn't even know I had it until I didn't have it anymore. And I think for me, that was so eye-opening. I was worried when I was going to have kids that I would never wake up in the morning, not a morning person. My husband said for the very first time, and we had been married for a long time, he was 10 years this year, that I woke up for the first time and I wasn't a grizzly bear. So yeah, I was falling asleep faster, sleeping longer, and I had a newborn, and it was okay. I was waking up with her in the night, nursing her, and I wasn't sad. I would say that the only thing I did different was the triplex. So yeah, what I also learned and through all of this was that I had a candida yeast overgrowth. I had lots of issues previous to this, and we'll get into it, but I've had thrush with babies before with the nursing. I've had other infections, and they were all related to yeast, which no doctor ever said, oh, it's probably in your gut. And in all the research you do, it's like, wow, what ties back to gut health nowadays? And, was it because I was on birth control for a million years? Was it because I have PCOS? I don't know, but something was wrong, and this fixed it. Today, I still take my pink drink daily. Very much don't go a day without it. I've added a lot of products. I love the collagen. My hair has grown back from babies. My nails are long, my eyelashes are long. There's just not one thing I wouldn't say that's good about the products themselves that truly heal you from the inside out, and the community. I can't stress enough about how amazing the community has been, because you talk about you feel good, but I'm sitting here and in person I've met Jen, obviously you, Andrea, you, and Laura. I've not met you guys, and I feel supported by you. So, and for anyone listening to this, it's just something that it sounds so corny, but I wouldn't change it for the world. And I appreciate it. And I hope that for anyone listening, you give it a try, because it's just, you don't know until you try and how good it could be for you. And that's my story.
Awesome, Marie. Thank you so much for sharing. I knew little bits and pieces, but I didn't know everything. And I can't imagine going through all of that for your first baby. That was a lot. I can't imagine.
Absolutely. Happy to share, happy to answer any questions, for anyone listening here or after. So I'm an open book. I like to share because I wouldn't be where I was today if I didn't do this with everything.
Exactly. That's right. Do the what if on the positive realm. Like totally. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad that everything is in the right rhythm now, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm so glad. Thank you so much, Marie, for sharing.
You're welcome, Nicole. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So we have Miss Laura that I'm going to introduce you guys to. I can't wait. She's going to be sharing a story about her little girlie, which I haven't heard yet. So I'm looking forward to it. Go right ahead, hon.
I'm like, I love that collagen. I'm like, over here, I'm like, go to bed. And I'm like, oh no, my wrinkles. And I'm like, oh wait, I don't have to worry about that anymore. Yes. Can everybody hear me okay? I'm trying to do headphones because I'm trying to get this topic of conversation to fall asleep, but I don't think it's going to happen. She probably is going to pop her head in just to make her celebrity appearance. But Layla, my little girl. So I breastfed her until she was 18 months old when I had to stop because I was diagnosed with MS. I have a lot of testimony I will be giving about that along with what I have done. But long story short, I had to stop breastfeeding at 18 months because I had to start taking infusions. So that was kind of a pretty pivotal moment because it's transitioning from breast milk to cow's milk. And we did our best. She seemed to do okay in the beginning, but she would get backed up. And she would get backed up, I guess, backtrack a little bit, even when she breastfed, like for a week, 10 days. And then she would have these rock hard poops that I'm telling you were as big as like this coming out of my infant, even bigger, like I swear, like this diameter, that I would have to physically pull out of her little scrotum. Not scrotum, she's a girl. I started a new workout today and I am absolutely exhausted. I've been doing yoga and this 80-day obsession is no joke. Leah, I'm going to kill you guys. And I'm like over here like, and I've been taking my active and everything and it works. So anyway, back to my story. I'm going to bed right after this, you guys. So long story short, I'm pulling poop out of my little girl and I'm like, what is happening? Like, what can I do? We tried all different kinds of syrups. We tried a max dose of Miralax, and you see I'm getting red because something that that's what the pediatrician said. They're like, Miralax, prune juice. Like, I'm sorry, but have you guys tasted? I tasted prune juice when I was pregnant and super constipated. And yes, I would love to give a plexus pregnancy testimony someday because mine was awful and I was so constipated. But that's what they suggest, like prune juice, like all of these things that clearly they just don't work. They're just Band-Aids. They're just like, here, let's just lube up the problem. Let's just pull water into your poop and just get it out of you instead of heal what's around. So I found plexus for myself in August of 2018. Layla was just turned 2. So she had been 6 months milk drinking and cheese products and gosh, those puffs, the puffs that are just compacted balls of wheat and just literally everything that can just get them all clogged up and nothing was working. She would hoard her poop after a while because she was so afraid of going to the bathroom and how badly it would hurt. And she would bleed and scream and cry and look at me in such pain that it's like, you will do anything like to protect your child and just to see and just be helpless. And the doctor's like, just a whole cap of Miralax then. And it's like, I respect and I love my doctor, my pediatrician, but I'm like, this is not the answer. There has got to be something else. Plexus was working for me. And I'm like, you know what? They have these kids vitamins. Let's try it. She is obsessed, not to mention every single morning. She's like, Mama, time for my candy. She still tries to hoard her poop. It's something where I'm assuming she's going to grow out of, but it is so nice and formed. And it's literally bigger than a man's when she goes into the bathroom. It is mind blowing. Like it is actually like a running family joke about how big my child can poop. But it's all soft and she doesn't cry. And every time after, because it's PTSD for her. Like, she's like, I don't want to go poop because I think it's going to hurt. And I'm like, it doesn't anymore, baby. And so the more times over the last year and a half that she's finally starting to let go and relax and not feel that need for control, she's just like, Mama, it doesn't hurt. And like the smile on her face and like, let's read a book and let's sit here and be happy. It's like, I don't have to worry that my child is going to be scarred for life for going to the bathroom anymore. And I remember that feeling, being constipated, having a fissure when I was pregnant. Like, just undescribable pain. And we don't have to worry about that anymore. Soft formed poops that she can't hold on to for longer than 3 days. So, and plus the BioCleanse and her morning yogurt, we've kicked it up from 2 to 3, and it works. It works. And there's no more Miralax, except if my mom's around, and then she'll still think, oh, I got to help with the pediatrician, what they say, just out of respect, because she's an RN for 46 years. But I give her 4 BioCleanse that day, and just I'm like, I'm flushing that out, because that's just going to get up and out of here, and we pump the water. But water, veggies, and I can tell that she craves vegetables and fruit and that stuff. She's a normal kid, still wants candy, but it's life-changing. When you can take that pain away from your child, it's like, that's the best reward you can have. And like I said, the community of people, the people that are there for you when you're crying on the bathroom floor with your child, like, and now I don't have to worry about that anymore. And if I ever do, I know that I have a bunch of people to help me be like, no, you force that down your kid's throat, because you know it works. Take them.
Laura, so my son went through all of that too. So I will someday share his. So I totally feel the mama pain for you. And I'm trying not to cry right now. Everything I can do to.
Yes.
It's really, and Texas was.
Come here, Layla.
Are we going to see her real quick?
Yeah, right before. Oh, no pants on.
Yeah, it's all right. Hi. Look at that cutie.
Can you say goodnight?
Oh.
Happy girl.
Yes. Good night, sweetie. Oh my gosh.
Say goodnight, Layla. Okay, guys. I won't take any more of your time.
Okay, thank you, Laura. Oh my goodness. Whew, okay. So, as you heard Marie mention, she talks about the community, and Laura mentioned about the community. And something that Ashley and I really want to share is the community. And really, so the reason why I joined was for my son, but I'm going to step back and say that Ashley and I, we went to high school together, and we graduated 20 years ago. Oh my goodness. And most of those 20 years, I'm going to say 16, 17-ish years, we didn't talk, but not because we didn't want to, but it's just because of how our lives were. Yes, we're friends on Facebook, but it wasn't like we talked. And so she posted about how this gut stuff she was doing was helping her feel better. And I was like, oh, my son is having gut issues, so let me connect with Ashley. So because of Plexus, I got to grab Ashley back into my life. And I feel like our friendship is even stronger than it was in high school. And talk about like I promise I'm not going to cry. Anyways, so it has been amazing to have Ashley back in my life. And because Ashley introduced Plexus to me, she basically, in a way, introduced me to all of you. And the number of new friendships that I have just come across. So my son asked me, so you have a call tonight? I said, yeah, I'm going to be talking about the community of Plexus. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, well, all of the new friends. Well, how many new friends? And I said, geez, I can't count. I really, truly cannot count how many new friends. He's like, 100? I said, at least, definitely more, So not only you get the friendship, but like Laura was saying, when you're down, you have somebody there to lift you up. When you're celebrating, you have somebody to celebrate you with. There's so many different areas of the community of Plexus that I have completely like sucked in and taked in. And I'm actually going to stop right there because I'm getting too emotional. So Ashley, you want to?
You're so sweet, Nicole. So I second everything Nicole has said, and I wanted to sort of go into my testimony over the community because this has been huge for me. So back when I was 18 years old, I got really sick with rheumatoid arthritis, which probably has Lyme disease mixed in there as well. We're not really sure which is which. Probably all of it is, working together to make me really sick, basically. So 18 years old, a child becoming an adult, and all my friends around me are still, going to college and partying and having the time of their lives. And, I was like burdened by this very serious disease that required very serious medications that had lots of side effects. And so from the age of 18 on, I was at risk of getting cancer, and I was at risk of major infections and all these different things, not to mention the joint disease, which was incredibly painful and limited my ability to be as active as my peer group. And so I just felt like, a young person who was living like an old person in my 20s. And it made me very serious, and it made me very nervous about life. And it made me very isolated because my peer group, there was no way to share this with them without feeling like I was burdening people or that I was making people uncomfortable, because it was serious and I was depressed at times, and it was, just a very difficult time in my life. So fast forward to 3 years ago when I reluctantly and skeptically decided to try Plexus because I was having gut health issues after having my second pregnancy. And I was not looking for friends, and I was not looking for support. I was such a loner at that point. And especially when it came to my health, I was like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And I make the decisions. And I had a very hard time taking advice from my like friends that had introduced me to Plexus. And I think I was probably very difficult to work with, but eventually they cracked my exterior, and they were able to really show up for me and care for me. And then I was able to, take that information and advice that they were trying to give me and use that. Yeah, Andrea can definitely attest to this. And use that knowledge that they had and the knowledge of our entire community to really start feeling better. And so I did start to feel better. I've had so many incredible health changes. Like, that's a whole nother Zoom call. But my health journey is kind of a long one because I just have some very complicated health issues. But what I love about this community is that I have the support to keep going and to keep, working on my health. And I have the knowledge of the hive mind. That's what I like to call us. And I don't feel alone anymore. I feel like if I am struggling, I can go to Andrea and I can get some help from her. And I don't know, it's just a totally different way to do life for me. And I love it. I had no idea that I needed female relationships either. Like, I have my mom and my sister, and we're close. They didn't really have close female friends. Nicole knows this. I kind of just I kept everyone a little bit at a distance, and that probably has a lot to do with my disease. But I was friendly, but I kept everyone at arm's length, and I didn't show my emotions, and I didn't get upset, and I didn't show my frustration. But through working with these ladies and doing life with them, I've let my guard down. And how I knew that this really had happened was a year ago, we all went to Las Vegas for a Plexus convention. And I had the most fun in my entire life. Don't tell my husband or my kids that, but it was like the most fun. I felt like safe. Like I felt like I could just be myself. And I just, that camaraderie of being with women was just so awesome. And I didn't want to leave Vegas when it was time to go home. I was like, can we just stay here? Because it was just so much fun. So yeah, that for me, that community part was not what I was looking for. I didn't know I needed it, but now that I have it, I am like so happy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. hmm And it's just amazing how, like, it's like we can read each other so well. Like, even if we've never met somebody physically yet, it's like we know them. And it's just because we're a tight family. And
Well,
there's so many of us.
I think too, like, you know, we're dealing with very vulnerable things,
Yes.
you know, with our health and the health of our children. Sometimes we're talking to people about like anxiety and depression. And so that vulnerability really builds these relationships.
Mhm.
And so it's unlike anything I've ever experienced before.
That's exactly true. Very correct. I agree. Yeah. Wow. Do any of you ladies want to add anything about the community, or anybody have questions?
I will. I'll say
Go
something.
for it.
I'll just add, you know, I said it before, but I think one of the neatest things about the community piece of it has been, I think, the authenticity of all the people involved. I think for me, I have another job. I have a full-time job. I work in a big corporation. I work with a lot of people who, we call it the high school mentality, and they still, it's some people are just not that great, you know, and that's not to say anything bad about people, but the people that I've met through this from the community aspect, there's not been one person that hasn't cheered for me, you know, asked me questions with the utmost respect to say, you know, can you help me? Can I help you? I mean, it's just this, I say it's bizarre to me because it almost is too good to be true. And a lot of people have said that to me, even about the products, right? Well, you know, I joke and I'm like, yeah, it's voodoo, haha, like it all works. There's science behind it, people. But I've not met anybody who's not been authentic and real. And I love that, what you said, Ashley, about, you know, the vulnerability part of it, because that's probably why. So that's nice to hear. But that's for me. It's like there's not been one person that's not been authentic and true and real and really wanted to do this because it's actually helping others. You're not only helping yourself, you're helping others.
Right. So true. So true. Laura, was there something that you wanted to add? I saw you had unmuted.
Yeah, and then it would get lost because somebody
that's
got out of
okay.
bed again.
No, that's okay.
I just can't wait until we can, I was just gonna say, I can't wait till we can all get together again and I can hug all of you and we can get away from these darn kids.
Well,
Okay.
all right. Thank you, ladies, so much. All right. Thank you so much. It was, I can't wait for everybody to watch this. Please reach out to the person that shared this with you, and they will just give you so much more helpful info. All right. Thanks, guys.